All right. Good morning. We're going to go ahead and get started because we have a jam-packed morning for you. I know more people are coming on, and thank you for joining us. I'm Terry Kimball, President and CEO here at the Chandler Chamber of Commerce, and I am really excited to bring you this next in our series, Evaluating Your Digital Footprint, brought to you by Mark Stewart and Jillian Grammer, and they're with Concept to Completion. This series is also brought to you in part by the City of Chandler Industrial Development Authority. So a little bit about Mark Stewart. Mark is a student of consumer behavior and enjoys helping business owners and entrepreneurs find success. Mark has over 25 years of experience as a Fortune 50 leader through founding his own business. Mark has launched multiple brands from scratch and has either founded or co-funded startups in the electronics, sporting goods, and the general consumer product goods industry. He has an intimate understanding of marketing in the modern age, having experience with retailers like Target, Walgreens, Walmart, Canadian Tire, and Amazon. Mark can provide insight into common marketing and retail strategies. Mark is an elected member of the Chandler City Council and also represents the Job Creators Network as the Arizona State Ambassador. So Mark, thank you for joining us. And I want to do a little bit about Jillian. And Jillian Grammer is the marketing coordinator with Concept to Completion. And she helps businesses find their voice in a noisy digital world. Isn't that the truth? She also owns her own social media marketing company, Jay's Social Media Marketing, where she helps small businesses grow their online presence that targets audiences that convert. She also has worked with Steve Levine Entertainment, The Emerald, Evolved Thinking, and of course, as a proud mama, she was also one of our Chandler Chamber of Commerce interns. So please help me in welcoming Mark and Jillian. I am going to let you two take it from here. Thank you so much for being here.
Terry, thank you so much for that great intro, and we're excited to be here, and hopefully we can share some information with everyone that will help them sort of move through this pandemic, really focus on some of their digital strategies, and really give them some tools to evaluate their digital footprint. So when we get off this call, you'll have some ideas on how to really be able to tell if you're doing the right things and if you're focused in the right areas. There is so much going on in digital media today. The good thing about digital media right now is it's on sale. What you're seeing is one of the first things that people do when they're faced with economic challenges is they tend to retract their marketing dollars. It's the worst thing you should do right now because one, it's on sale, and two, you can get a expanded share of voice. So we're going to go into a number of different things here, and we'll hit the next slide here. And Jillian's going to run the slideshow for us. And so we're going to talk about the importance of evaluating your online brand. We're going to talk about understanding your digital footprint and what it means today, and how to evaluate it, and then where to take action. And then I think the most important thing is the Q&A. Keep in mind that this is a comprehensive global sort of overview of what you need to be thinking about. And what I hear a lot when I talk with clients and prospective clients is everybody's looking for a silver bullet. Marketing is way more than a silver bullet. You need a comprehensive approach, and you start with the foundation, which is sort of your website or your digital footprint. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So Jillian, you want to go to the next one? All right, great. So I think when we're talking about evaluating your online brand, the first thing, and you might want to take some notes here if you're watching and you have a pen. So the first thing you want to do is understand what your goals are, right? So understand what your business goals are. I know we all want more business, but I'm talking specifically about what your online presence is and what your goals are. So if that's lead generation, do you need to build an email list? Do you need conversions through your Facebook page? Do you want to have people communicating with you and sending you instant messages to learn more about your business? Let's say, for example, you're an attorney and you want to reach more clients, right? Well, there's multiple ways that you can do that, but you have to understand what those goals are first. And so you want to start jotting down what your goals are for your online business, whether that is, like I said before, you want to get more emails so that you can build an email list. If you want to communicate one-on-one and do social listening and find out what people are saying about your brand, if you're a restaurant, those are the goals that you need to understand. I think you also want to try to figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are from your online presence. So, right, if your Facebook only has 200 followers and it's all your friends and family, that's not really going to help you, and you're devoting a lot of time to it. That's not really going to help you build your online presence. You have to reevaluate where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are, and be honest with yourself and write those things down. So, for example, if you are in the, let's just say you're a financial planner and you are focusing energy on Facebook, you probably are in the wrong space. You want to probably be focusing on LinkedIn and things like that. Or if your website doesn't adequately capture people that visit it, or it doesn't actually give people information about what you're really good at, you need to look at those things. And if you're embarrassed by any of your digital footprint tools, website, social media like that, write that down and just be aware of it, because those are fixable. And then really want to align your strategy with the expectations of your customers. And the way to do that is to talk to your customers. You have to do social listening. You can send an email blast out with a survey, but find out what your customers are saying about you when you're not listening. And then you can adjust your strategy to align with what your customers think you do. And if your customers think you do something that you don't do, then that's a clear indication that you need to fix your brand messaging and move in the direction of communicating to them what you do and what you do well. And then understand your place in the market. I say this all the time, but steal with pride. If you've got a competitor that's doing something very well, there's no reason why you can't do it. Everybody makes a good hamburger, but some make them better than others. What are they doing that's remarkable? Do they use a pretzel bun? Those are examples like that. That's kind of a funny example, but that's what you want to be looking at. So take cues from your competition on things that they're doing well, and hopefully one day you'll be that competitor that they're looking at to steal ideas from. And always remember that a brand is a promise, right? So if you think about what you say your brand is, you need to deliver on that. And the one way to find out if you are delivering on that is to communicate with your customers, understand your goals, be honest with yourself about your strengths and weaknesses. And so we'll go to the next slide there. And is this one you, Jillian? Or no, this one's me, and then the next one's you. So how to evaluate your digital footprint? You want to understand your customer journey from beginning to end. It's called, from awareness to interest to conversion to advocate, and we'll get into a little bit of that on the next slide. You want to question your customers. You want to review your web analytics. If you're not on Google Analytics and you're not looking at that at least one time a week, you need to be doing that, and you need to jot that down in your notes to make sure that you get access to your Google Analytics so that you can see how people are finding you. You need to review your social analytics and your social data. You go to your insights on Facebook, or you go to your insights on Instagram or LinkedIn. You need to understand what people are doing when they come to your social media sites. You need to look at conversion data. And what that means is that if you are putting social media or digital media marketing efforts forward, you need to look back and understand who's converting in that place, or who's converting on those platforms. And again, look at your competitors, find out what they're doing well. Don't be afraid to steal what they're doing. If they're doing a lot of video, if they're doing TikToks, if they're doing things like that, it's okay. Then that means that you need to go in that direction as well. And then take action. I think that's the biggest thing for a lot of small business owners and business owners in general, is that there's so much going on in the digital marketplace that in the past you used to hire an ad agency and they would take care of everything for you. Everybody thinks because they have Facebook on their phone that they can just go, oh, I'll run my digital media marketing this way, and they end up failing and they get frustrated with it and they just put it aside. The reality is, it's just like a plumber. You could learn how to plumb. Like I could learn how to plumb my sink in my house here, but I'm going to hire a professional to do that because they're going to do it more efficiently. It's going to cost less money, and it's going to happen faster for me, and it'll be more comprehensive. So take action and then monitor those results, and then do it all over again. Understand the customer journey, question your customers, and you just keep doing that over and over. So Jillian, you want to kind of explain what the marketing funnel looks like and how to acquire customers and what it means in this digital market?
I think I'm going to do the web and the social analytics. If I feel like you're going to do a better job at explaining the marketing funnel, if you want to take this one.
All right, super. I'll take this one. So we just talked, sorry, we got a little crossed up on our, on who was doing what slide, and that's my fault. Sorry, Jillian.
No,
So
you're
on understanding the customer journey is pretty simple. You look at your mission and your strategic objectives, and you create that customer journey. And what that means is you're going from stranger to visitor, right? You're creating an awareness campaign. It's a big open funnel. If you've ever seen a marketing funnel, at the top of the funnel, you're trying to get as many people in that funnel as you can. Some people will be interested in your business. Some people will not be. But once you find those people that are interested and they visit your website or they visit your social media page or they're interested in what you do, you want to drive that traffic to your website and then generate leads. So you want to be able to capture their email. You want to be able to be able to do remarketing through Google or remarketing through any other tool so that you can stay top of mind. Because if you move them from stranger, they'd never heard about you before, to actually visiting your site or looking at your menu or trying to find out what you do or what your key competence is, your unique value proposition is, then they're going to move into, that's a warm lead. So you need to capture some way to be able to reach back out to them, whether that's an email, whether that's remarketing or anything like that. And then when you do that, you're going to create a lead magnet and you're going to reach out to them and you're going to say, hey, I noticed you were on our website, or hey, I noticed you clicked on this link on Facebook. Do you want to learn more? Let's set up a meeting. Or you send them an offer. Hey, here's a free appetizer. Just stop on by. Whatever you can do, you got to nurture those. The days of this global going from awareness to conversion, which is what the old advertising used to be, those days are over. You have to nurture that lead from beginning to end, from awareness to conversion. And once you convert, then you need to turn those customers into advocates. And the way you do that is staying top of mind. So you continue to email them, you continue to send them offers, you can communicate with them as often as you can, and create advocacy programs so that they will then, which is the golden egg, then they will do the word of mouth advertising for you because you've treated them as an important part of your business, and then they will start advocating for you. But that all starts at having a great foundation, getting people in at the top of the funnel, and then working them through the process. So creating presence, driving them to your site or your landing page, your website, converting those visitors into leads, and then retaining those customers and delivering, again, I'll go back to this, delivering on your promise, which is your brand promise, creating advocates.
So I'll just add something real quick right here. Part of evaluating your online brand starts with understanding your customer journeys, which is very personalized to your business. So just like this, I know this looks like a lot on the screen, but map out the framework for your business. Where do the customers go to find out about your business? What are you doing online? And just draw the roadmap for how you're converting them from stranger to customer.
So I think then that takes us to, and this will be a pretty simple slide. You need to question your customers. You need to find out what key terms they would use. And we do this vision and mission workshop with every one of our clients where we basically walk through towards the end of the process and we look at what keywords people would use to find their business. And then we want to make sure that we add those keywords in their website somewhere. We want to make sure we add those keywords in their blog. We want to make sure we add those keywords in their headers so that when people are using those keywords to search on Google, you have a better likelihood of coming up in a Google search organically so you don't have to pay for AdWords. And then finding out what people love about your business and taking that messaging and putting it into your social media cadence, taking that messaging and putting it into your website, because your customers, that especially your advocates, will tell you exactly what they think you do. And it's okay to listen to them. And then again, that goes back to what we talked about earlier, is that if what you think your brand promise is different than what the consumer is saying about you, you need to make some adjustment. And then find out how good your customer service is. Because these days, in that nurturing path that we just talked about in the previous slide, you want to make sure that every single time somebody touches your business, they're having a good experience with you. And so you need to do some social listening. You need to do some consumer listening. So ask your questions to your customers.
And then just some free resources down here. You can use tools like SurveyMonkey and Google Form to ask these questions to your customers to find out more about what they're thinking of your business. Okay, so now we're moving into a very important part of evaluating your online brand, which is reviewing your website analytics and your social media analytics. This is important because you're able to find out where your customers are coming from. So did they see a Facebook post and wanted to learn more, so they clicked on the link and went to your website? Or did they see an ad on Google when they typed in your industry? Or did they directly type in your business name? These are all questions that analytics will tell you. So interesting fact here, 81% of consumers conduct online research before making a purchase. So think about it. Whenever you need face masks that are made in your area, or you need recommendations for pest control, you go to Google. So having a strong online presence and putting yourself in front of your consumers will obviously work in your favor and potentially lead to more conversions. So as Mark mentioned, we use a free tool called Google Analytics. And basically how it works, if you don't know, is you take a code from your website and you put it into Google Analytics and it tracks everything for you. So a few key metrics to look at in Google Analytics are conversion rate, page views, bounce rate, and traffic analysis. And here we just have a few examples from our client's website, which you can see those key metrics here. So we have users and bounce rate over here. On the right, we have acquisitions, which is telling us where our website users are coming from. In this case, our highest is organic search. So meaning that people are directly typing in the business name. And this is great because people know the brand, they know the services they offer and who they are. Another area we want to highlight is knowing the difference between a stranger and a visitor. As you can see in this pie chart, it breaks down the website users in between new visitors and returning visitors. As you can see here, there are a lot of new visitors, which is telling us that our brand awareness efforts are driving new traffic to the website.
And that's huge. And let me jump in real quick. And that's huge. So all of the cadence that you do on social media, all of the cadence that, if you're putting out videos on YouTube or anything that you're doing is creating brand awareness. If you have let's say, for example, you do a billboard, or if you happen to get lucky and get a television ad or something like that, or on radio, people are hearing your name and they're getting into the top of the funnel. They're becoming aware of your business. And then when they type your name in or something similar to your name and their organic search, that means that your brand awareness program is working for you.
Okay, moving into social media analytics. Here we're taking a look at Facebook Insights for one of our clients. And being in the green is always a good sign. So you can see that page views and page likes are increasing. Although it's not shown on here, engagement is another important Facebook metric to look at. Engagement is showing you if the content you're putting out, if people are actually enjoying it and reacting to it, sharing it. If your engagement is low, I would consider experimenting with different forms of content to understand what your audience wants to see from your brand. Facebook Insights also gives you demographic information, which allows you to better understand your audience. So in this case, we can see that our consumers are coming from Phoenix, our top area, and 61% are women. So this information will help us when we're creating campaigns or ads.
So I think you're so good at this, Jillian. You should just take it from here on out. You're much cleaner than when I sit here and ramble on. So thank you for that. So hey, the big thing in here is to really understand, and when you're looking at your analytics, review your conversion data. So if we go back to the very beginning of this conversation, this is how to evaluate your digital footprint and understand if what you're doing is working. and getting tools to be able to look at your digital footprint and understand the data that you need to be looking at. So when you start driving traffic, you need to look at the conversion rate, because that's going to tell you what Jillian was just talking about is, are you putting out content that people like? Are you putting out content that is converting people to believe in your brand and to believe in the promise that you're making? So again, I'm going to reiterate, go and look at your competitors, spy on your competition to find out what their top keywords are, and there's tools that you can use to do that. Make sure you're creating backlinks for your blogs or on your Facebook page. You know, tag people on your post, and then be a thought leader in the things that you post, and go from there. So I was just reading some of the questions from some of the folks. So let's go to the next slide, Jillian. So we've gone through all this. We've looked at our digital footprint. We've looked at our analytics. We're really digging into the data behind what we're creating and our digital media presence. And so, did you look at your website? Are you proud of it? If you're not proud of it, you're not going to show it off. You need to have a website that you're proud of so that you can show it off. So you may need to invest a little bit of time and a little bit of money into that. Look at your digital media. Does it work? We were talking with a prospect, oh gosh, I guess it was just Tuesday, wasn't it, Jillian? Who is doing things online, but it's just noise. There's no thought leadership they were putting stuff out on LinkedIn, and there was no thought leadership. They were just putting up posts. And that isn't, what that makes people do is actually unfollow you. They want to know, if you're an expert in your space, they want to know what you think. So it's okay to share an article, but make a comment about that article. Tell people what you think about that article and be a thought leader. So find out if your digital media works. If it's not converting, or if it's not driving people through your analytics, if you can go to Facebook and say, okay, nobody's showing up from Facebook, it means that people are not engaging with your content. They don't believe in it. And does your messaging align with your brand promise? And so, like I had mentioned earlier, we do this vision and mission workshop, which we really fine tune what our clients' vision and mission is, so that we can craft messaging that fits with what their consumers are saying about them. Matter of fact, we've done a handful of clients where we've gone out and done surveys with their current customers and say, okay, what do you think about your client? And what do you think, what do you think about your vendor and how they're doing? Are they doing what they promised they would do? And then finding out what your customers say about you. So trust me, today more than any time, especially with COVID going on, you need to dedicate resources and time to your digital footprint. And it's so hard to do. So I'll go back to my plumber analogy. There are experts out there that do that. C2C does that. There are a million different companies out there that do digital media analysis and that do digital media work. If you do what you do well, you be an expert in your space and let the plumber be the expert in their space. And so we offer these services. We're happy to talk with you free of charge. We can go through a brief vision and mission sort of conversation with you to make sure that you're lined up. We also provide digital footprint analysis, and so we can do a full report and kind of tell you what your grades are. Those are free as well. So we're just here to help you and to answer any questions that you might have. So I'm going to get into the chat here real quick and answer a few questions. Terry, did you have a couple things you wanted to say?
Yeah. No, that great information. You've covered a lot in just a short period of time. So let me go ahead and let me run these questions by you. So what do you find works the best when marketing locally here in Chandler? Let's take that one first.
So one of the things that's great about social media today, and Jillian, please add on when I'm done, is you're able to geofence. So I'll just use an example. We have we work with an orthodontist who, generally speaking, people travel about anywhere from 7 to 9 miles as the farthest they'll go to travel to an orthodontist. So we'll geofence an area on social media for her awareness program that way. So that's how we target locally in Chandler. And the other thing is we find those keywords through those workshops that we do to find out what people are going to be looking up, and we make sure we add those keywords into the demographic or the audience persona that we build for our digital media ads and things like that. So Is that a good answer?
Yeah, well, and then do you feel that the geographical location should modify your marketing strategy and focuses?
Well, it depends on what kind of business you are, and Jillian, feel free to add in, but I think it all depends on the business that you have. If it's a restaurant and you have broad appeal, or you're extremely unique, and you want to reach 10 to 15 miles, you can certainly do that. If you're a financial planner, you could probably extend your reach even a little bit more if you offer something a little bit more unique. If you're a bank, you want to stay pretty focused around a business bank. You want to stay pretty focused to that market that you're in, because people just don't want to drive that far to drop off checks or things like that. So it kind of depends on the business. Jillian, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I would definitely say micro targeting is huge when advertising locally. But another little tip specifically for Instagram is as a local business, I would research. You can go into the Explore page and type in your city. So you could type in Chandler, Arizona, and find all the businesses in your area and follow them and get to know each other, and maybe do giveaways with each other so you can feature each other. It's just a great way to collaborate with other local businesses and get your name out there.
Or you can also go to the chamber website and do that too.
Very true.
Truth.
No, all kidding aside, what has been the biggest change you have seen in marketing due to COVID?
Wow, I think what I've seen as a digital marketer, as a marketing agency, is people recognizing that they need to be online, right? And they need to be able to sell online. They need to be able to reach their consumers online. There's some estimates that say that digital media and social media use over the past 6 months has gone up 50%. That's a lot when you think about how much you've used your phone. But I think we can all sit here and say, since we've been kind of on lockdown and haven't been going out much, we're spending a lot more time paying attention to social media. So the biggest change that I've seen is that people are recognizing that, and they understand that they need to do it. But you've got to have a good plan, just like anything. You need to have a strategy, and it's good to work with a professional to do that.
Well, and one of the things too that we're hearing a lot that we're also having businesses do is actually making sure that you're getting that message. If you're open, or if you have limited hours, or whatever those things are, it's so important to communicate. Because right now, even if somebody may not come to your store all the time, they're going to go online and take a look. All right, when are they open, so that I know I have to go pick this up. It's really, really critical right now. I also think, and we've heard this a lot, we've been doing a series of roundtable discussion groups. And one of the things that we heard from several of our, for instance, restaurants, is communicating their message on what safety precautions that they've taken as a business and getting that message out there. Any comments on that?
Well, you know what? That's probably the answer I should have started with on the biggest change I've seen in marketing. Safety is the new brand for every group out there. You need to be able to share with what you're doing. I'll tell you a quick story. Yesterday, I was getting ready to go into the chiropractor, and they take lunch at 1:45, and I was walking out, and there was a lady that pulled up next to me, and you could see on the door, she was staring at the door on the hours, and I watched her bottom lip come out, but she didn't believe the door. She actually went on her phone. I watched her. I couldn't see what she was typing, but I know that she was typing in what the hours were for the joint that I was at to find out what was going on. So going back to what Jillian said earlier, 81% of people are going to check a website or going to check your site before they even decide to do business with you. And so that, we didn't even talk about this, but if your Google My Business isn't set up correctly, and that's a process, but Google My Business is an absolute must for SEO and for all the things like that. And so that's another part of your digital footprint you really need to evaluate. And then I think I saw one more thing.
Question.
From, yes, go ahead.
Yep.
Oh,
so what did you say? What did you say again? Yeah, I'm reading them. What did you say again about tagging people in your post?
So if you're on, let's say, I think I was speaking specifically maybe about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a different type of cocktail. You know, I always tell that story about social media is a cocktail party. Facebook's about talking about your kids, and it's about apparently now it's about talking about politics. But you know, Facebook is a nice and easy, light conversation about what's going on in your life. LinkedIn is a business-focused conversation, right? And so you want to bring in businesses that you're communicating about. So let's say, for example, I put up a post about this event today. I tagged the Chandler Chamber. I tagged Jillian. I tagged people that I thought might be interested in it on that post. So those are the backlinks that we're talking about. That gives us more exposure. It notifies the Chandler Chamber that we added something about them. The Chamber is really good about adding links to their posts. So it's important to add links. Yeah.
Well, how do you determine what social media channels you should be on?
That's a great question. I think it depends on the business that you're in. So, for example, if you're an attorney, you really want to be focused on, you know, LinkedIn. You want to be doing some things on YouTube, letting people know about you. I think you want to be able to expand your reach and your general awareness so that you're top of mind, because people tend to need attorneys like immediately. And that's why you see the overall awareness campaigns. When you see it, it's just a constant cadence. If you're a restaurant, you know, maybe Facebook is a great place to be. Instagram is certainly a good place to be, but Snapchat and TikTok are exploding right now. And so if you want to hit a younger demographic, you want to be there. So it really depends on what kind of business that you're running. For me, we do a lot of activity on LinkedIn because I want to deal with decision makers. I want to deal with CEOs, our marketing directors that need help with their online presence. So that's where we tend to focus a lot of our efforts.
So I'm going to bring up you just brought up TikTok. It's been a lot of controversy in the news lately. Why TikTok?
Well, TikTok is it's like Instagram on steroids, and I'll let Jillian talk a little bit about it, but I'll share this with you right now. TikTok made a really good move here recently with they're offering $300 in free advertising on TikTok until the end of the year. So when the administration met with all the social media giants back, a month and a half ago, suddenly they came out right after it was over. Those were all American companies. And then right after that, they came out with, there's one company, TikTok, that we don't like anymore. So they don't want them in the sandbox. And I understand why. But TikTok made the move of saying, okay, we're going to offer you a bunch of free users credits and up to $2,000 worth of dollar-to-dollar match of credits on TikTok to get more users in from the United States. So I think if the administration goes to shut them down, then they can say, well, you know, they'll have the small business community say, whoa, I'm converting here. I'm creating great awareness campaigns, and people are finding out about me. Don't get rid of TikTok. Snapchat's another great tool, but we haven't found much success with that just yet. People aren't converting to businesses, but TikTok's a fun way to get your brand message out and to let people know and personalize your brand. So, Jillian, what are your thoughts about TikTok?
Yeah, there's been a lot of controversy about TikTok and it possibly going away. And my thoughts on TikTok is that it's a lot of work. So unless you have someone like in-house dedicated to like be the face of the brand and to put a lot of like time towards it, I would personally, just because it might go away and we don't know, I would focus your efforts on Instagram Reels, which just came out and they're really trying to push that. And I think it's a great way to do the same thing, but Instagram's not going anywhere.
Really good point. The Instagram Reels is hot. And that's the thing. There's so much going on in social media all the time. So it's one of those things. It's why it's important to work with a professional. I did see one more question on here.
Yep, I got another. Yep. How hard is it to set up one of those Google ads that follow the person once you visit your website?
So that's called retargeting, and it's you can do that straight through Google Ads. I mean, for us, it's not hard, but it takes a few minutes, and there's tutorials on YouTube that'll teach you how to do it. But you just make sure your Google footprint, your Google Analytics is all set up correctly, and you should be good to go. You have to have your tag manager set up the right way. You've got to put your HTML code into your website and make sure that's all set up correctly, as well as your Facebook code and your LinkedIn code and all those kind of things. so that you can get the good analytics from it.
All right. For Google, Yelp, and Facebook reviews, what is the best way to handle this?
Ask people to do it. Pretty easy. One of our clients, we printed out little cards that they can have that have the phone number on there, so it's something they can take with them. But we literally just ask them to leave a review. The great thing about the community, the digital community, everybody feels like they know one another and they're all rooting for one another, especially locally. So if you have a good experience with a business owner, if you have a good experience with a restaurant, I'll tell you a quick story. So yesterday, Grubstack did a thing with the husband and wife law team where they did half off Grubstack. I took the time to go on and leave a review for the husband and wife law team and make a comment about them, because I felt like, you know what, hey, I saved $15 or whatever it was. I eat a lot. I saved $15 and I thought it was worth it to do that. And it was a good experience for me. And it was the least I could do is to give back. And people will do that, but you just have to ask. So print out a card, and leave it on your waiting room, or hand them a card on the way out the door, or just literally go into your email list and say, hey, can you do me a favor? If you had a good experience with us, can you leave a review? That goes back to that social and consumer listening, right? Go ask your customers what they think.
Yeah, that's something we did for one of our clients. Is we got a list of their top brand advocates and we sent personalized emails to each of them saying, we appreciate how much you've engaged and love our brand. It would mean the world to us if you could write a review, and just sending that personalized email, it could go farther than you think.
Yeah, and the rating went on Google from 4.7 to 4.9.
Wow.
That's good. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Jillian, I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite social media platform to work on?
Oh, 100% Instagram. It's my favorite. I just love how creative you can be with it and how much you can express yourself and in your business. And there's so much you can do with it. It's my favorite to work on. I feel like I see the most growth on there. And yeah, hands down, Instagram.
Okay, Mark, what is your favorite one to work on?
MySpace. So I'm like the last no, I'm just kidding. I like LinkedIn because I'm just.
Even still odd?
No, it's not. I was showing my age a little bit. No, I love LinkedIn because there's so much information. And so, I wear multiple hats as running C2C and also on city council. I like to know what's going on in the business community. So that's something that really interests me. So I'm on LinkedIn all the time. And I like to stay connected with my colleagues on there. And I continuously look to add new people to my network because you never know when you're going to need help with something, or if you're going to need some expertise, and you can reach out on LinkedIn. So I love LinkedIn. LinkedIn is expensive, but you want to talk about hitting a targeted audience of CEOs, decision makers, even up and coming professionals. It's a great place to be, especially if you're running a company.
Okay, so YouTube, everybody's doing videos right now. Should you establish your own YouTube channel or just do what they create for you?
Yes, the answer is yes. The answer is your digital footprint must be uniform and branded across all platforms. Having a YouTube presence is amazing for SEO. It's amazing for letting people connect with your brand. So yes, you should absolutely have a YouTube channel. I remember we just went through our campaign. I was able to get impressions of my brand, my political brand out. I think it was like 140,000 times at about 1.2 cents per impression. So people that were on YouTube that was geofenced in Chandler saw my name 140,000 times in the last 2 weeks of the campaign. So, and it was cheap. It was very inexpensive. So YouTube's great for so many things. It's great for awareness, letting people know you're there, especially because you can micro-target, which Jillian was talking about earlier. But YouTube gets to a place where you can convert. You don't necessarily need a bunch of followers. You just need to be on it, and it's cheap. Right now, I think YouTube is the best value for awareness campaigns of anything out there. Go ahead.
So one of the things that I hear from both you and Jillian is also about consistency. And it's not only consistency on your digital footprint, but whether you're doing, newspaper or, print or, all of our newspapers and our medias are now have that digital component too. How often should you recommend to a client to do those consistent messages?
Well,
Is it different depending on what platform you're using?
It can be. I mean, it can be. It all depends on what your goal is for that particular platform and what kind of business you have. And I keep kind of falling back on that. And I'm not trying to like dodge the question. The reality is like for somebody, for the chamber, you guys do a fantastic job of having a uniform look. You have your logo and everything that you do. You use the same font, use the same color, and you tend to, I can count on the chamber to provide this similar and to provide the cadence of information that I go to the chamber for. I mean, it's very consistent. So that's a good example. But yeah, it's super important to be congruent. I mean, to look the same on all those platforms. So if you look at C2C, we have the same logos on every single platform that we use. We use the same font and everything that we do, from our website to our digital media. Obviously, we can't on Facebook; they control that. But anywhere we can, we use the same colors, the same fonts, and the same logos. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. How important is with fonts? Because certain fonts are easier to read. Is there a science behind all that?
Yeah, Jillian, you want to take a stab at that?
Yeah, I think a lot goes into branding, and having a font and color and everything that reflects your brand is important. And I would have someone who is a professional in that space work with them and create a brand that you love and that conveys your values and in what you embody. I do want to go back to that question about how often to post, because I personally feel like 3 to 5 times a week, which kind of sounds like a lot, but you want to stay top of mind. I feel like that number, 3 to 5, you will see the highest conversion rate.
It's true. It's true.
Right.
That awareness
Great
piece
advice.
is, yeah. I think I'm breaking up a little bit.
No. So you have been a fountain of information. Are there any other questions from our audience? And I know this has been more kind of conversational in that. Let me throw this out. I asked you about what's your favorite platforms to work on, and you had 2 very different things. Does age play a part in that? Age demographics?
Watch it, Jillian. Yeah, of course it does.
Just asking.
Of course it does. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't get on Instagram and look at the pictures, right? And I do see some brand awareness things, and I see some people doing some things very well on Instagram. But you got to know your demographic, right? Instagram is for that 45 and under age group. It used to be a 35-year-old age group. I can't believe Instagram's been around as long as it has. But it's a matured platform, and you're seeing some things spin off from that. But it is certainly the choice for, and I will tell you this, in the environment that we're living in today, for the next 6 or whatever that might be, I think you're going to see Instagram is not nearly as negative as Facebook is, and so I'm finding myself moved to Instagram a little bit more than I used to. But Jillian, what are your thoughts?
I kind of changed my answer. I still think Instagram for me personally, like I love to go on Instagram in my free time, and it does work well for brands, but I would say for like Facebook advertising and for generally all businesses, I feel like Facebook and advertising on Facebook is a better platform choice. But I think age does play a difference in our answers, but It depends on where your consumers are hanging out, what their demographic looks like, and what the platform's demographic looks like.
Yeah, and who you're targeting, right? If you're a club, if you're Dirk Bentley, you certainly want to be on Instagram showing pictures of beautiful people dancing and having fun at the bar. If you are an attorney, you want to show a good blocked font with a serious look, because you want people to trust your brand. You want to look extremely professional. So it just depends on where you're looking. I did want to leave you with I lost that thought. Go ahead, Jerry.
All right. So one final question. You posted, and we were talking about this a little bit ahead of time, you posted a wheel the other day on the concept to completion. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that really caught my eye.
Yeah, I would love to pull it up and show everyone that didn't see it, but basically it was just a roundup of statistics that showed how much data is being put out there I don't know if it was every second or every minute, but it's a lot. And
I think it was every minute, yeah. And it was in digital footprint is so important, and it really caught my eye. It made me stop. In fact, I'm an old guy. I printed it out to show, because I really wanted, because I was looking at it on my phone and my eyes aren't this. They're a little seamed. But I really wanted, it was great information. I wanted to really take a look at it. All right. So here's another question while Jillian's bringing that up.
it says host disabled screen share.
Okay, maybe Carly can get that then. It says, I missed the Instagram cut by Mr. Stewart. I do feel that social media use has shifted by age group, particularly as I see my daughter and her friends using social media that I'm completely unfamiliar with. I know what you're talking about. Our problem is, as we develop a small business, how do we handle all the various social medias without the time to keep it up with it all?
Let me take a stab at this one. So if you got a piece of paper in front of you, here's what I want you to do. And this is the easiest thing for you to understand whether or not it makes sense for you to invest in a professional company to help you with this, or if you need to learn it on your own, and if you have the time to manage it on your own. Again, going back to what I said, you be the expert in what you do, right? If you make widgets, let somebody else do that marketing piece for you. So many companies, especially small business, try to do it both, and they end up, you've got one hose and they end up having two fires to put out, and they don't do an adequate job of doing either, and then they get frustrated. And social media and digital media, Google AdWords, all these things that are moving around, we get. It's just like second nature to us, and it's second nature to anybody that you're gonna want. You can't do it. It's just, it might be easier for you to use somebody to do it. But here's the little equation that I want you to do. Ask yourself what it costs to acquire a customer. You should know that as a business owner. You should know that through your business plan that you developed. What does it cost for you to get a customer? And if you think that you're spending anywhere from 12 to 18% of your money in marketing, and you think that you can acquire a customer for, say, whatever you're going to pay for a digital marketer, let's say you get into an entry level with a digital marketer at $5.99 a month, right? And they're going to manage 4 platforms for you. They're going to post 2 or 3 times a week, and they're going to help you with your content, right? They're going to help create content for you. If you are a dentist who is going to get 20 new customers from that awareness program and that conversion program, and each one of those customers that come in after you turn in the insurance is going to be worth $500 a piece. That's worth every penny of that spend if you can put that number to that, right? If you are a cupcake maker, those are called bakers, I think. If you're a cupcake baker and you need 50 more customers a month, that breaks down to 1.8 or 1.75 a day. So you need to get about, I don't know, anywhere from 500 to 1,000 impressions a day of your content to get conversions, stay top of mind. So work back into what you think your investment might be in order to bring on new customers. Here's the great thing, I'll tell you again, social media is on sale right now. It's a great way to create awareness. And if you deliver on your brand promise, then you get those advocates and you won't need to do much social media anymore because people will be telling people about by name. Jillian, do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with everything you said. Another little point.
I'm going to let her pull up that slide again.
Did you lose me?
We missed you, Jillian. Can you repeat that?
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree with everything Mark just shared with us. Another little tip I would give is if you're having a hard time juggling, trying to stretch yourself thin and be on social media like every single day and posting, there are free tools you can use like Planoly, or you could use Facebook Creator, and you can take one day and batch out your content for the week. And so you don't even have to like think about it. You could just schedule it out and it's ready to go if you are also running your business.
Great tip. Jillian, will you show that slide again? I want you to walk through, or Mark walk through what that posting that you had up there.
Okay, can you see it?
It's every minute. Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, so how much data is generated every minute? So if you don't think that you need to be online, I feel like this just shows you how much is being generated every minute by every brand, every user, and how important it is. So a couple on here that really stood out to me was Instagram stories, 347,000 every minute. That's crazy. Same thing on here. We have Amazon ships packages, 6,000 every minute.
And that to that point, if you're a brick and mortar retailer and you have not updated your ability to sell online and to give people that option, you should already be doing that. If COVID didn't teach you that you need to be in that place, you definitely need to be looking into that. That's super important. And it's super easy to do. Especially if you hire somebody to help you with that. Getting an online presence and be able to sell online and ship seems like a daunting task, but it's the future, and you need to move in that direction, especially for millennials and Gen Z. Gen Z, my daughter, she's 18, and she'll go shopping about once a quarter. And I remember growing up when we go to the mall every week, and she does a lot of her shopping online. So there's something to be aware of.
And
all right.
This is available on our Facebook page, if Concept to Completion, if you guys want to.
All right, somebody just asked. Yeah, so another question, WhatsApp is over 41 million a minute. Wow, what is it?
It's a chat tool. It's a secure chat tool that people are using. You got to call it what it is. People don't trust Facebook anymore. And WhatsApp is an encrypted chat service that people are using in order to be able to share secure messages. Facebook has how many of you talked about, like I have my phone sitting right here and I talked about attorney. I can guarantee you that in about 30 minutes, I'm going to have a bunch of attorney ads come up in my Facebook feed. Facebook, is listening to you, and they're not listening to your conversations. They're just listening for keywords, and then on your phone, and then they're sending ads based on some of the social listening that they're doing with the app. And you've opted into that to use their messenger service and to use Facebook. So I'm sure we've all had that happen to us. When it first happened to me a year and a half ago, I was like, oh my God, Facebook's listening to my phone calls. It's not as egregious as you think. It's just they're listening to keywords so that they can help advertise towards you. I'm sure we've all had that happen. Everybody's probably scratching that and go, oh, that makes sense. But anyway, Jillian, have you had that happen to you too?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Like you'll say something, you'll search something, and then you'll start seeing ads for it everywhere.
And that's that retargeting we were talking about, right? That's why it's so important to get your pixels set up.
All right. Any final comments from either of you? This has been very, very informative. And anybody who's on today's, you will get a copy of this PowerPoint, and so that you can find out more about if you have more questions, Mark and Jillian. This week, we have an expert coming in from WSI Optimized Web Solutions. And Madhu, I think you're on. You may be on today. So she's going to give us some other tips, because as we navigate going through this, we over and over again. So I just want to do a shout out, Mark, Stewart, and Jillian. Thank you so much. You two are amazing, and I love the insights and the freshness and the ideas. I've got about 8 more to-dos I've just added on my plate. So thank you again.
Thank you
I
for
want to
having
thank
us.
again the City of Chandler Industrial Development Authority for helping make these webinars possible to help make your business continue to grow. We'll see you next week, Thursdays at 10 a.m. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.